everybody, I've got a video stuff on Magic the Gathering Arena for you. I did one earlier, kind of just show folks how to get started in here. You can get out there playing against some of these guys that take this stuff pretty serious. Kind of gets discouraged and you kind of come in, you get beat, you get knocked out, you keep trying, stay at it, don't give up on that, figure out how the game works. A big part of it's offline building decks and cards, but if you stay with it, you'll really love it. My first video is a little bit smaller. Try to keep it shorter. We'll see how this one kind of turns out. Played a Spark game, so we'll see if I can get another one that will give a little more information and kind of help you get up and running kind of quicker. I know some of the videos out there that you see, things like game nights and some of these other guys, even the tutorials that you go through, real simple on here. So they don't really always get you up to that level when you get out there and start playing against these other guys in competition and other people. Alright, well, let me get into this. One thing here, I've got a deck that's built. You can go in and you can build decks in here. And I have a lot set up. You can double click on it. But if I select this deck, I'll take this deck. We'll go in here and we'll just play against the bot match. So if I come in here, I'm playing against a real person here. Standard rake, I'm playing against somebody for a rank. Maybe I'll do one of those. I did one bot match. I'll try another bot match right now real quick for a video. Hopefully that'll be fruitful. So let's get into it. So like I mentioned before, you get 7 draw from your card. This is a standard kind of play. There is the brawl games, which are a little different for the commander. Even it's different from commander play. It's been developed with these cards. So lots of neat things you can do and ways to play draft decks and other things. So just keep that in mind. There's everything from the reality of real cards, from trading and saving and things that have historical value and collectors that you can sell to playing game nights and going up and meeting people and game stores and interacting and playing with them, as well as going online here and playing through this virtual type of card game. So all kind of plays off of each other. You can learn in here. Arena is really good at showing you how to play some of the game. Now, one thing to note here, I'm not worried about taking time. I'm playing against this Spark character in the back. This is a spot. Normally when you're playing against somebody, there's a time characteristic. They'll play a fuse. We'll see how that kind of goes later. But so I'm going to collect things here. I've got a few land cards here. I've got a special type land card. I've got my plains, and I've got my swamp that I can play out, which will be good. That's something you want to think about when you're looking here in Mulligan. You want to look at what you've got here. Something kind of play quick. I've got a slow cost in the top corner. See, I need 1 plains for this card, but for my Planeswalker here, Strength of the Pride, it's going to take 4. So it's going to take at least 4 times to put my land out. You can only play 1 land typically in each turn normally, unless you have a special ability or a card that allows you to get more out, which is good. That's kind of what they call ramp. If you hear I'm talking about ramp, you're trying to get your man out there, getting where you can get your card cost met so you can play a lot of things real fast. You get ramped up with the mana fast as you can, get the big cards out there, and then you can attack. And sometimes it's a speed game, so you can get out there first. So sometimes it's just a 1 turn or even parts of a turn that'll make all the difference in the world. But this is a card take a little bit, but not too super hard to get to. And I've got another small, easy one that I can play, which uses the other type of land that I've got, and I've got land to get there and support that. And then I've got a cool one. If they get a bunch of little bitty creatures out there, they can wipe the board of anything that's like a 2-size creature. One thing you got to think about is this number at the bottom of here where it shows a 1/1. This one is a 1/1. Those are compared to basically your power damage that you can do, and then your toughness, which you can actually take, how much damage you can receive without getting killed. Now remember, these aren't creatures. They kind of take this as if it's a spell that you're bringing in and you're summoning these creatures, so they actually have to come in and resolve onto the gameplay. And I know I'm doing a lot of talking here and I'm trying to explain things a little bit more than I did in my other video, but I don't want to get too boring here. Let's try to get in here. Let's get to play. So if I go in here and I do like a mulligan, just to show you. So now I've got things where I can only keep now. So I'm going to start with a disadvantage. So I'm going to say, okay, this looks good. I changed up the cards I had. I like the one I had before. Here I've got one that takes a lot to play out. I really like that card there to get out. This is another Planeswalker. Still got 4 cost. This is another good one. So not as good a hand as I had before. And I may even start with 1. So I'm going to have to probably get rid of one of these. I'm going to keep 6. So now I pick which one I don't want to get rid of. So if I want to get rid of one of these, I'm just going to get rid of this basic Planes right now. And it's a hard choice. So I'm going to get that one to be done with that. Alright, so Spark went first. The little bot here played a Planes, so that's to kind of indicate what kind of cards, what it will be playing against. So I've got my 2 here highlighted that I can actually play. I've got my deck here. You start with 60 cards. You can have more than that, but when you're trying to get cards you want to play out there, starting at that 60 minimum is best. And if you have a whole big pile of deck, you randomly getting a bunch of stuff, it's going to play so different. But if you got a set of key cards that you want to get, you want to make that odds of getting those cards in your actual hand first. You want to keep that deck as small as you can. So 60 to start with, especially you guys getting started. You start understanding things. Maybe you can start to build it. There's cards that kind of help you get more lands out or be able to handle bigger decks. Sometimes there's some neat things, like if you have too much in your card deck, you're trying to make a big deck to play against. So just keep that in mind. There's also the idea, but there's some cards that reverse some of these play rules. So there's one way you can lose, and that's by using all your cards. If you get down to the end of your deck right here and you have nothing left here to draw out of your pile, game over. You lose. Now there is a particular Planeswalker that has ability. If you've got the Planeswalker played, if you go through that deck and you don't have any cards to play, you win. You can do this. So there's a lot of rules and variations in here. It keeps things interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and get started again. So I've got a couple of different abilities. I don't have anything I can play out real quick, like with that first hand I had. I had ones that have 1 cost. Here I have everything multiple costs. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. So since it's going to be tapped, when something's tapped, I can't use it this turn. I have to wait till it gets untapped, which takes a turn. Lands and other things that you use. I really like cards that work really fast. Company here. I want to get that little life thing. So get him played, then put the life and get really big and kind of be a little tougher because some spells and things that may happen. So I just went ahead and got this one out. You saw it came out tapped. Now it's my turn again. Went through Spark, just played another land. So they've got to learn to planeswalk before you can planeswalk. Now this one can be the plains or the swamp. So it can be white or a black type mana used to pay for any of the cost of cards. But as you can see, I still can. So I'm gonna do one more. This has a white that's wild type, which isn't anything. This indicates what kind. Could be anything if it's just a number, and that's what this type is here with that little type diamond shape that they put in there as an indicator. Now as I go in here and play, there's still nothing here that I can play. And I drew another card which is not good, but would have got another land in, then maybe I could have played something. So there's not much I can do at all. Now I'm going to do this, which isn't what you'd want to do, because you lose your tap land and then you can't use it. Sometimes you can use it when they're attacking you if you have spells and things, but if you do this then you'll lose it. But you can go ahead and tap this out and say, okay, I want to go ahead and get this one. You see it'll show what the type is over here. When you do something like this, you can pick which type you want out of the swamp, and then it'll put here, and then I can play that against one of these costs. Normally it does those things for you automatically and you don't have to keep up with it, but sometimes if you come out here and you try to play something that you want, it'll do an automatic thing, and when it tries to do automatic, it may not pick exactly the way you want. Most of the time it's pretty smart, pretty good about making a good choice, but not always. Sometimes there's some particular advantage you can do by picking a particular one. So there's nothing I can do there, so I'm just going to cancel that. So now you'll see I'll lose this, but there's nothing I can do with my whole turn. So as I go through, and as you can see, this shows the step through as it turns here for my side, the opponent's side. Kind of breaks out a little more detail over here in the area as it goes through each individual step thing. So this, stop step, you draw step basically, and then once you get out of your draw step, you can get to the right before your combat, and you can click that and make it stop. Normally it'll stop if there's something you can do, an ability or something, or you can actually select and highlight and say, I want to definitely stop here, I want to stop at these very points, and that'll
Let's get
stop
moving.
each one. Gives you a chance to think about things or do something special that the automated system may not quite pick up.
Hey, that's wild.
So since I got a land now, I go ahead and play. But something else to point out here, I've got 7 cards. So if I don't play this land, I'm going to have to pick a card to go back into the deck, which you don't want to do. You can only have 7. You can have 8 while you're playing, or more, or 10, or whatever. There are special abilities and almost special rules for everything. So there are cards that allow you to hold a whole bunch. But right now, so you definitely want to get that out. So now that I've got 3, there's still not anything I can play. And there's a lot of damage up here sitting on the board now. So I've got, I can take 3 damage and 2 damage here, and that's lifelink, so it's probably going to go up 2 on attack. But
I hope I win.
Nothing I can do. Just because of the way I started with that mulligan, I didn't have anything quick to play out. So something to think about when you're playing. You want a good hand to be able to play and get something on the board fast.
You've got to learn to planes walk before you can planes run.
And you see how I did? I entered my step. If I wouldn't have had this highlighted, it would have went ahead and gone, but now I'm passing my turn. So I'm done with my turn. It's on you now. Alright, so they played, they took the draw the card. There's a few things I could do, possibly, not really anything here, but just pull out mana. But the system recognizes this platform, so I can pass the step in order to go ahead and go into the combat. So I get passed into the attack. So it's fine, I do everything. There's nothing I could do, so it went ahead and didn't do anything in that defend area if I could have blocked or anything like that. And then the actual went through the whole step, came back to my turn, got me planes, which is good. I played the planes out here. So now it opens up, I've got several cards highlighted that I can play, so I've got some real important choices to make. Now there's a few different key cards here. I've got 2 of the same ones here, but if you'll notice it's legendary, so I can't play both those at the same time. Hopefully I'll show you how that kind of plays out in it. But if you try to play one, they'll both come up on the screen, and each place you have to choose which one you want, so maybe one's worked down. But Planeswalkers is a whole different thing. Keep that in mind, but you can have cards that are legendary, and you can only play one of those as well. You can have enchantments, other types of things, and we'll get into some of those. This is another one of those ones I'd mentioned, Gideon's Company, that grows real fast, which would be nice to play. So I want to get that out, but if I get that out, it's only a 33. So there's some creatures up there that could actually take it out, so I need to be able to get it to grow really fast. Planeswalker, then it's going to be vulnerable and to attack, and these can do 3, 4, 5 damage. You can do 5 damage, and this only has a 4. And I'll talk about this. This is not the same as the toughness and the power that you see with the 2 numbers. This is a loyalty counter, and the whole theory is you're a Planeswalker. And you're back here and you're casting spells.
Keep with it.
And you're building your land and your mana and your energy to be able to cast those spells. Well, there's other planeswalkers out there. You're competing against one, and this is one of the planeswalkers that's loyal to you. And you're calling
I hope I win.
Planeswalker to come in
and
fight for you. And they come in with a certain amount of loyalty for you, and that's what that loyalty counter is. And that's what it comes in as, is a 4. Now, based on that, they can do things. They can bump it up each turn. So like this one can add 2 to its loyalty, or it can do special things where it minuses out its loyalty. So each turn you get a chance to do something like that. There's other planeswalkers here that can't plus up. You can do it with other proliferate, other abilities, but a lot of times you can just use the card as it plays, and before you know it, they're used up. They lose loyalty. They don't get killed. They don't go in, they go in your graveyard and stuff, just like every other thing. And the theory behind it is they no longer have any loyalty. They're no longer fighting for you in the ballot, and they just kind of battle and they kind of go off to their own thing and leave you to your devices. But this one you would actually do a -3 to exile a creature, which could be really useful, but I don't have the mana to be able to play that. So let's just do that to show how the game plays. So I'll put this out here, and when I auto-play it, it pulls from each one of those lands like I was showing, but right now I'm not going to auto-play. If you can go in here, you can tap, you can pick which ability you want here. Do I want to put one in and get a different type out? Not really what I want to do, but you can do this for casting planeswalkers.
Let's get moving.
Good place to kind of pick how this stuff works. So I'm going to use one piece and I'm going to tap something to produce 2 other kinds. So I have to be careful here. I can produce anything I want, but I know I need planes. right?
I hope I win.
And I know I need
But I hope you win too.
the swamps, the black. So that's the two I picked. So I turn that one into those two, and then I've got to pick something I can tap for that. So now it pulls out two of those different types. It could have been any type out here, so it's kind of a conversion, which I don't use that much. I mostly use it for just the +1 in the life, and then just the color of my mana, because that +1 really helps sometimes. So I'll go ahead and pull these others out to show. So this one I get to pick which one I want. Doesn't matter really now. The key types. And now that I've got enough, I can actually play my Planeswalker. So my Planeswalker played, gave me 1 life.
Through feud or feast, your blood is mine.
It's got the 4 loyalty, so I can come in here and I can pick what its abilities are. I can't play this one right now because I don't have anything I can use it on, but this is a specialized ability. So I'm going to go ahead and plus it up too, which then allows me to pick what that damage. I can do damage to myself, but that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, right? So I'll do 2 damage. Got life.
I abhor my
So I'll do 2 damage to the opponent. So they didn't attack, they just attacked me. Now they're attacking, now you get to choose. So I've got somebody else out here that's a Planeswalker, and I've got me here that's a Planeswalker, and you can choose who that they're going to attack to. This time just decided the bot decided to do all the damage to me. Sometimes that's a good strategy, sometimes it's
important
not.
to take your time.
But we'll keep kind of working through this. So I've got another land. I'm going to go ahead and play this one. Now this is interesting. See, I've got where I can gain a 1 life. So I don't really want to play that right now. I don't have to play it at this step. I can play it after I go through my combat as well. So I'm going to hold back. I'm going to go ahead and play one of my Gideons here. And you can do 1 land each time unless you have a special ability. I think I mentioned that before. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. See how fast this card can grow. So once I put it out here, it's got lifelink now, which it didn't have before, which is interesting too. So this card gives lifelink to all your creatures.
You've got to learn to planeswalk before you can planes run.
So now when I play my land, I can play it now, or I could wait till I attack or something else. So I'm going to play it now before I do anything else. The order I play it makes a difference. Now I gave my life, so now I get my +1/+1 twice, which then makes this card a 5. When I initially played it. Now I can come in here and do another plus up, and do more damage till at the same time gaining life, making my card grow. So now I've got me a 7/7 to attack with, but it's still summon sickness. It can defend in summon sickness, but you can't attack. So now they're attacking the Planeswalker instead of me. You see how I did the damage?
You will become dust!
Put a special enchantment that kind of turned my card into something being useless right now. I'd have to get rid of that enchantment, which I can with some things. I could go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do a 2 damage and do it to them. I would probably want my card out here that would grow, but just to show.
What a mess I
So this card still grows, but it's still got. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe the board. Now this will do damage to me as well, but my creature's large enough that it'll only last during that turn. Now I play this. I'm going to play it first. I was building my own creature. So you got to really think about the strategy here. You can easily mess up. Alright, interesting. So now I've got some choices to make. Don't have anything out here to really worry about at this point, so I'm doing pretty good. So I'm going to pick some different cards here to start playing.
It's important to take your time.
Get my other card out here so it can start growing. And you'll see as I do this, they'll both grow, and I'll get
Time for a drink.
Now this area here where it shows things is another important part of the field you got to think about. When you look at this, you know, you've got your hand right here that you play. Then you've got a couple of different areas over here. You've got your deck, and then you've got your graveyard. And it also has an exile tile that comes in right here.
Like,
and I'll show you that.
Hey, that's wild.
But you can see how many's in your hand and how many you still got in your deck. The other area here is this is your lands that you come out and play. You get any kind of enchantments, they kind of play and sit in this area unless they're enchantment. They go on a particular card here, like on the one that was played on my card, or an enchantment that goes on the land. Planeswalkers are put in this general area, and they'll stack up and be able to be played in there. But this other area here in the top is kind of the stack that you play. This is your battlefield area. So anything that you put into the battlefield has to resolve here.
Important to take your time.
But the process of doing these things like enchantments or battles or whatever that you're doing, it ends up on the stack. So whatever happens first, so you'll see some of these things play out. So whatever that stack is on the bottom. You'll play another one on top, and then whatever abilities go, it kind of goes into that stack and then plays from the top back out to the bottom until it plays out. And that's how you define how some of these cards react in these environments. But you'll see here, so I'll attack, I'll do 1 damage, lifelink, and everything will grow again. And I could have just played this card out. I could have done that damage, could have attacked, then played that card, and that card still would not have had any counters on it. Wouldn't have the full counters on it. Let me go ahead and try to show how this works. I got my plus, so everything grows again.
Super awesome.
I'm gonna make you suffer.
So I can actually exile a creature now, and hopefully get something played here soon to do that. But right now there's nothing here to use it on. But I do get that ability that prevents my opponent to have hexproof. And hexproof keeps it safe from any kind of spell, sorcery, some of those types of cards and abilities. But that could be for you know, against a creature or
You've got to learn to planeswalk,
actual self,
or you can planes run.
even your planeswalkers. But I'll go ahead and do this.
Vampires are useful.
And so as you see now, I could attack with this one, which do 11 damage, pretty big dent in my opponent, which I'm not going to do right now. I'm going to keep playing. Right, so got me another land. Go ahead and play me my other planeswalker here. Got my special ability in my land. Triggered my guy here, which made that
To fight with an ancient vampire lord.
I think in order to get around to this ability, I mean this is a super big creature right now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and
I saw something.
show you something here. So I'm going to use one of my abilities here to exile my own creature. Now since it's something unusual, it says, are you sure? Normally if you do another creature, it may not stop you in that bit. But
Let's get moving.
I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead.
Monsters know better than to hide under my bed.
And so it goes into this exile. So I can click on that and you can see the creature that I just exiled there. Probably not the smartest thing to do when you're actually really trying to play. And then you can even look at your graveyard. So I don't have a creature in my graveyard yet as well. So if I come in here, back to Soren. So I'm going to go ahead and
I am all I need.
allows this creature to grow. Then I can take, in this Soren here, different card, legendary, but still different, so I can play the two different ones. Has other abilities. I can just do the normal plus up, which is pretty good. So everything gains lifelink, which it already has. So it gets death touch. Now death touch, if anything blocks it, it would kill it. So it's not doing me really any good to put that death touch. But now, since it has death touch, if it blocks, it's going to kill it, even if it's a 5/5, 10, or 17/17. So if I use my 17/17 to block a death touch creature, it would kill the creature because it'd do 17 damage to a 1, but it would still kill my creature as well, even though it would only take 1 damage. So you got to be real careful about those abilities and how they play out. I don't want to end the game yet. Could have attacked with both. And see, this is, you gotta be careful. See, I could have won the game last time, and since I didn't win the game this time, just trying to make the creature larger, now it's playing a sorcery card that's gonna make that card essentially useless. So it went. So if you look here, it put it in my library at the bottom of my deck, which I can't see, but I only got the 1 in exile from before, and I don't have any creatures. I've just got the 1 sorcery of mine here.
Let's get moving.
I'll never get to the end of my deck. And you could have some cards that would reshuffle, and that card may come back up. Alright, I think I showed these cards in my other video. I did that a lot. Nothing to use that on. I definitely want to do a plus up here, get my damage here, just to do the damage and get the plus on my Planeswalker. Same kind of thing here. I'm not going to. I want to do the plus up. Nothing to sacrifice pretty much up here, so it just did the plus without anything. So then I'm good. I don't have to do these abilities, so I'm just going to go to my next step. I can skip everything by doing a pass turn. You can just pass everything real quick. Now that's good if you don't want to key in your opponent, that you may have a spell or something down here like this murder. I don't think I have it here, but it's going to stop when I can't play it. But if I go ahead and pass all the way through, it won't stop at this point. And that pause sometimes keys them in to know when you can do something. So you can do these things, but you got to be careful, especially when you start.
Got to learn to planeswalk
because you want to kind of think through these steps as you go through here. You can hit this and pass your turn and miss out on a really important step that you can lose the whole game over real quick just by missing that key piece that you've got to do. But you can just go on through the whole turn real quick if you want. Now it's their turn. Fixing to go into combat. I could still murder a creature before combat, but there's nothing to murder except for myself. Nothing they can do, so now it's my turn. So now I could get rid of, if I would have had that card up there, I could use this one and get rid of an enchantment, and I'd still have my card. Just to show you, if I play Sorin, I say, yeah, I want to do that, and then I auto pay for it. See, we've got 2 of the same card. You won't let me do it. One of those has got to go in the graveyard. And I said, just play this one. This is a smaller one. I can send it to the graveyard, or I can take the one that I have up here and send it to the graveyard. So it wouldn't make much sense to send the 14 or the 13, but it makes sense to do it. But now it's committed, so I've got to pick which one to do. So I put that in here. So I just wasted my card, put it in the graveyard, used my lance, and now I'm stuck with a 4 now instead of the one that I had with all the loyalty points on it. Not a smart thing to do. Don't do that.
What a mess I've made.
That's an interesting card. I think I got to see how it worked before. Probably don't use that one much here.
Time for a drink. Vampirism is a useful trait.
You can hover over it and see what the enchantment was. So I could destroy creature or an enchantment, or I can just go ahead and use the murder.
I abhor my need for blood. I bestow a mighty curse.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and end this game here. Of course, like I said before, you could do like a little courtesy and say good game.
I like to think the treasure
be a
was the
little
lessons
sarcastic with you, a
learned.
little comment too if you want. But not a whole lot to be done at this point. My opponent. All these two damage. Be one left.
Nice job.
Feed the strong.
Alright guys, that's the game. That's how it's played. Go give it a try. It's a really cool game. And thanks for watching.